All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, man, that went quick. Errol, Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford ticket sales go on sale today in a pre-sale, and it looks like they may have outdone Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Before I get into the details of that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis. And thank you to everybody that comes by the live streams and checks us out there at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern in the morning. But wow, okay, man. So boxing is not dead. Okay. And surprise, 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 it is going to be extremely difficult and expensive to get a fight ticket to the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. We are now in a replay of what just took place last March, I think it would be. Last March, when the tickets went on sale for the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight. The ticket prices are ridiculously sky high. We see some nosebleed seats going for $800 a pop, but most of them going for well over $1,000, some at $2,000. Also, you have just ridiculously high prices all around the board, but the fight sells out of ticket sales, pre-sale tickets very, very quickly. So once again, boxing is not dead. This gate is again going to be somewhere around 20 million, between 20 and 30 million at the gate. Huge profits at the gate. Going to be, without a doubt, a top 10 all-time biggest gate in boxing history. And that would be the second one to get into that stratosphere this year. And if the ticket sales reflect the demand that there will be for the pay-per-view, I think you're also going to be looking at well over 1 million pay-per-view buys for the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. So we can put the nail in the coffin of some things going on around these parts. First of all, Showtime is not about to go out of business and out of the boxing business when they're putting on historically large fights, and the fights that are getting the attention of the entire sports world. You have the MMA world looking out for the fight, looking at the fight. You have pretty much everybody that is going to be anybody in the celebrity world that is interested in sports are going to be at this fight, which means you're going to get the Denzel Washingtons and the Shaquille O'Neals and all of those type of celebrities that come by these big fights are going to be there. That is probably why these prices are getting jacked up. And even if somebody is getting them in the pre-sale for $800, $1,000, I promise you a lot of these people are going to be reselling that closer to the fight for much higher prices than that. Should be an absolutely gigantic event. They are going to start the press conference for the fight next week. There's going to be a press conference, and just like they did with Gervonta and just like they did with the Ryan Garcia fight, Gervonta and Ryan Garcia fight, where they're going to have a press conference in LA, a press conference in New York. And from there, it's just going to be on and popping, man. It's going to be just an absolutely gigantic event. And more importantly, man, it's going to be a fight that I think is going to be a little bit more well-balanced than, or more even fight than Errol and with Errol and Terence than you had with Gervonta and Ryan Garcia. In my opinion, I just don't think there's much of a chance that it doesn't outsell Gervonta and Ryan in pay-per-view sales. And so, just like I said, man, we just got one going on, man. What a great year in boxing. What a great year in boxing. We're getting very, very solid fights, very good fights, and fights that took place like Devin Haney and Lomachenko and David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. We have, excellent, really, really big fights like Gervonta and Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Looks like at the end of the year, We may be getting, another, maybe some other really terrific fights. Like there's a possibility of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, if that could get made. But just all around, boxing is doing very, very well this year. There's also been a lot of really underrated fights that have taken place, like the fight that is going to be taking place between Steve Fulton Jr. and Monster Inoue. Also, you had, fights between contenders like Frank Martin and Michelle Rivera. You had the year begin with a good fight with Gervonta Davis and Hector Garcia. Just a lot of really good stuff going on this year, man. It is very, very good to be a boxing fan. And it would be better if these mainstream media people or corporate media people like Kamal Oz likes to refer to them as, would get off the PBC's back and start giving these people credit for really, really adding a lot to the sport. And Showtime Boxing as well, man. These guys are really going out of their way to make terrific fights, man, where these other networks have not been doing it. The grand exception to that, of course, is the Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko fight, which was very good over there on ESPN, on ESPN pay-per-view. That was a very good fight, but DAZN has been putting on fights like, I think the best fight of DAZN this year, if you discount women's boxing, which I'm doing for the sake of this video, I think the best fight that they may have put on, and I'm sure somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but Canelo Alvarez versus John Ryder. Nah, man, that's not really floating, man. But hopefully these big fights will push Canelo in order to, out there to fight David Benavidez or do something of some significance, because he's about to get outsold by Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford as well. And more than likely, he's going to get outsold dramatically 2 times this year with a rematch that more than likely will take place between Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford, because it's a bilateral rematch clause, unlike what you had with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, right? So just all around, man, looking forward to it. Should be a great fight. Absolutely great for boxing, putting a fork in this narrative that, that fights don't sell. Also, definitely putting a fork in this repeated nonsense that black fighters don't sell. Because in this particular fight, it is Terence Crawford, who last time I checked is a black fighter from America, and Errol Spence Jr., who is a black fighter from America. The two of these guys can put on the biggest fight, the biggest fight of this decade if it catches Gervonta and Ryan Garcia, which in the gate, in the pay-per-view, I think it's going to catch it in the gate. But anyway, man, just terrific stuff. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.